Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, my name is Muhammad Haziq Kamal. Okay, my issue is mastery of basic mathematical concept in students. Okay, so we can see those are the issues that occur to students in primary schools. The first one is the main issue is students' lack of understanding basic mathematical concepts such as subtraction, multiplication, and division. So the next one is students thought that mathematics is not attractive and difficult. So these things make students feel that mathematics is not attractive and difficult because they do not understand how to answer the question, what is the desire, or what is the will of the question to answer about. So the next one is students also will face difficulty to solve complex mathematical problem. It is because in answering complex questions, it contains combinations of basic mathematical concepts, facts, and critical thinking. So, if students lack of one of those elements, which is basic concept, facts, or critical thinking, so then it will give them tough times to answer those kind of questions. Okay, the next one we continue of how students can mastery of the basic mathematical concept. So we have four elements here. First one is problem solving. So the problem solving is that makes students to think outside the box with their own knowledge that uh, they already have in their mind to solve any kind of mathematical problem, real life situation problem, or any kind of problems. So the problem solving skills must have in students, and it also contains basic mathematical concept in order to solve real life situation problem solving. Okay, so the next one is mathematical concept, which is how to make an addition or how to make a subtraction. So this also is the basic mathematical knowledge that all students must master. Example is how to make a subtraction, which students um, must write the value, the higher number value above of the lower value in order to make a subtraction. Okay, the next one is facts. Mathematic facts such as measurement is the thing we can't change. We cannot change the facts that uh, the number of 100 about what the centimeter to meter, how many students must multiple or divide in order to make the centimeter to meter, kilo to kilometer to millimeter. So that things what a student cannot change the facts of mathematics. The last one is algorithm. Algorithm is we can say that the process, the student how they are processed uh, to answer the question systematically. Examples like students must arrange what basic concept do they use first to answer the question, and so on. Right. Okay, so this is the example of situation that students answer the very basic question, but student answer it wrong way. So we can see that the answer conclude that what is the what we call uh, the different in length. So in order to answer this kind of question, student must understand to answer the any kind of question that use different, they must use subtraction in order to calculate the different. So in this case, we can see that the student use use the student answer this question using an addition, because I can conclude that maybe the students feels that by using addition is the easiest way to answer mathematic question. So they use it, he or she use it without thinking uh, whether the concept is right or wrong. Okay, in this case, students do not know how to solve this problem. It is because, like I say, it is because they don't really understand what is the desire of the question. So they only use what they know, which is addition, in order to answer this kind of question. Okay, so we can see that this is the example of student, if they don't, if they don't master basic only, this is only basic. If they don't they, if they don't master the basic concept, they cannot answer uh, this kind of basic, very basic question. Okay, so this is example of teachers comment. The teachers thought about what is the main reason that students are very difficult to answer mathematic question, and uh, students are weak in mathematics. So we can see that all the teachers also state that students weak in basic concept is the main reason why students cannot understand or answer mathematic question. Okay, the secondly is high order thinking skills, or HOTS, need students to think outside the box and relate it with the basic knowledge or concept. So if how 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 do students want to answer the high order thinking skills question if they only do not understand the basic mathematic concept? So we can see, as I said just now, in order to answer complex question, students must use basic skills in mathematics, because they must use what we call many kind of basic skills to answer a complex question, and they must relate it with some other concept or some other facts in mathematics. So, in order students to understand the question requirement, they must master all the basic concepts. So, this is what we can conclude and what we can see by all the teachers' comment about our students' knowledge about mathematics. Okay, so this is the effect in TIMMS and PISA if our students are weak in mathematics. Okay, so we can see we have got a low ranking on TIMSS and PISA. Firstly, we can conclude it is because TIMSS and PISA test using different formats. So they require students to have a very deep understanding of basic mathematical concept in order to answer the question. Okay, so we can see our students' achievement in 2009 uh, and 2012. Next one, 2015 and 2018. In mathematics, 2009. Okay, we don't want to see the 2009. We see the 2015 and the 2018 because this is the latest one. Okay, in 2015 we've got 446 points, but our ranking is in the 45 place. But in 2018, our score is 448, increasing 2 points before the by the previous years. But our place is in 48 ranking. That shows that although our students have shown uh, increment, but uh, we also forgot that other country also have focused in mathematics, have their students to focus in mathematics. So we can see that other country have we can see that other country exceed our place, our ranking in 2018 by 2015. So what we can conclude is our students basic our student our student week uh, in basic mathematics concept uh, is affecting our teams and PISA ranking and achievement.
Next, for the second issue is teachers' lack of knowledge, training, and skill and material resources. First, the issue is lack of knowledge, training, and skill as well as material resources to aid teacher and preparedness in carrying out assessment, especially for mathematics. Second, teachers are frequently observed using the teacher-centered method of instruction, particularly in Malaysia. Teachers may lack adequate training or professional development opportunities to effectively teach mathematics, particularly in areas such as pedagogy, content knowledge, and strategies for addressing diverse student needs. In relation to the assessment implementation nowadays, school assessment is carried out by teachers and the school completely starting from the aspect planning, construction of assessment items and instruments, administration, inspection or scoring its recording and reporting. In line with the recommendation of Shepherd 2000, that to change the paradigm of something education system, teachers as executors and agents of change need to be disclosed sufficiently or trained to be skilled in implementing the change. This is because of the implementation of PBS will involve issues of belief, attitudes, training, knowledge, and skill of teachers. However, it will have a negative effect on teachers and students. Among them, teachers need a lot of time to review students' written tests, including interpreting information and recording. Other than that, it also puts pressure on the teachers to complete all the tasks obtained at the same time, increasing the workload and work pressure on the teacher. This causes, co- this causes some teachers who are not transparent by giving grades are not commensurate with the teacher's result. This is said to be because the monitoring from the superiors only sees the black and white progress report of school students. Other than that, teachers are frequently observed using the teacher-centered of instruction, particularly in Malaysia. Throughout the entire lesson, the student must duplicate the activities from whiteboard or exercise manual with the least amount of guidance. Exercises were sometimes limited to extremely simple yes or no question, and students were occasionally asked to explain their response or draw a connection to another mathematical concept. They were rarely taught about errors committed, and they were typically left to solve any incorrect question on their own. Teachers may require essential content knowledge or the necessary academic content knowledge to articulate convincing clarification when students struggle because there are evident limits to their ability on them in this situation. Most of the time, a teacher's pedagogical approach may be essentially a reflection of the training or instruction they had when they were in the classroom. However, there is also a chance that the instructor won't give their all at work, which would result in poor education. Next, we go through to the students' perceptions toward mathematics. Student perception. Students who struggle with math anxiety and low self-esteem in their ability to study the topic tend to think irregularly, act incompetently, show little interest in the subject, and rarely participate in class. And rarely participate in the class. So the effect that we can see is a student will not consider his or her mathematics course worthy enough to allocate considerable time to if they believe it has no impact on their future in life or at the workplace. The way that students define mathematics and the value they place on its application in daily life appear to influence how they feel about the subject. For the students, they for the students, their motivation to learn mathematics would be very low. Thus will result in the difficulty to learn mathematics meaningfully, said Daud in 2020. This is a serious issue and needs to be handled before situation become worse. Next, we go to effect of achievement among Malaysian students, especially in TIMMS and PISA. Not least, it also has a negative effect on the students. Among them, students will become more passive. This is said to be so because the subject of mathematics requires high cognitive skills compared to other subjects. However, there are some teachers who have not yet mastered and adapted to the use of technology nowadays, causing the learning method to remain traditional, including the chalk and talk method. Assessment methods that focus solely on memorization or procedural fluency may not accurately measure conceptual understanding and problem-solving abilities in mathematics. Effective assessment should provide feedback to both students and teachers to support learning and improve instruction. Training related to PBS is very important for teachers who carry out assessment in the classroom. If teachers have sufficient knowledge and skills, they will certainly be more prepared and confident to carry out assessment. Accordingly, a quality assessment will result in high validity and reliability. The same goes for pedagogical skills, learning content and strategies to attract students' interest in learning, especially in the subject of mathematics. Other than that, as we can see, in mathematics, almost the student become weaker over the most recent period in 2018 to 2022. But high achievers decline more than low achievers. In reading and science, the gap between the highest scoring students, 10% with the highest scores, and the weakest students, 10%, which is 10% with the lowest scores, did not change significantly.
And moving on to the third issue in teaching and learning mathematics, which is weakness in understanding concepts, logic thinking, and lacking of strategic knowledge that can cause errors in problem solving. And according to Lata, students who are lacking in arithmetic and procedure knowledge as a result from a weak conceptual understanding. And many students couldn't bring meaning to the problems and they didn't know how to plan and perform the problem solving strategies. So the question is, how does the deficits of the skills in mathematics and cognitive aspects of learning can influence the students' difficulties in mathematics problem solving? So commonly, in the process of problem solving, students had to go through 4 hierarchy phases of problem solving, which is the first one is understand the problem, devise a plan, carry out the plan, and the last one is to look back and reflect. However, many students had failed to carry out the task of the first phase, which is reading and understanding problem. For example, in the first step, which is understanding the problem, students frequently ask, "I got confused with the questions, teacher. What do the question want? What concept to use and how to answer the question?" In this situation, students might face difficulties in understanding the language or understanding the mathematical terms used, or they might facing difficulties in making connection of the problem with the concept that they had been learning. Consider a multiplication problem such as, Sarah has 3 bags and each bag contains 4 apples. How many apples does Sarah have in total? So, a student might misunderstand this problem in the following ways. The first one is misinterpreting the operation. The student might add number of bags, which is 3, and the number of apples in each bag, which is 4, instead of multiplying them. So, they might answer, Sarah has 7 apples, instead of the correct answer, which is 12 apples. And the second mistake is ignoring the relationship between bags and apple. The student might simply count the number of bags, which is 3, and assume that's the total number of apples Sarah has. Therefore, they might answer Sarah has 3 apples instead of considering the multiplication aspect. And here are some difficulties that students might face in making decisions on how to solve the problems. The first one is students' deficits in number fact skill and information skill, or connection between information and facts and formula could be inaccurate, or student disability to make coherent visual perception, and the last one is fail to organize the information and to construct mathematical sentences. While performing the solving procedure in the third step of POLIA, students also said that they could not recall the facts necessary like the concepts, tables, and the calculation working. This problem can lead to become uncertain and making error, and finally, they will got the wrong answers. In this group interview, we can say that students also having difficulties in number facts and division. They also has incomplete mastery of tables and basic operational concept, and inconsistent in arithmetic working procedure. And here are the example of student errors. Firstly, let's read the question. The question is, there were some people on the train at the beginning. Then, 16 people got on the train at the stop. And now, there are 35 people on the train altogether. So the question is, how many people were on the train before the stop? In the description of the error type, in the first error, the student did not use an appropriate problem-solving heuristic. The explanation is, the student most likely used the keyword method as shown by the underlining of the word altogether and the use of the part, whole schema and the plus sign. In the third diagram, the student did not identify the structure embedded in the problem. This student did not understand the structure of the problem and therefore drew the wrong schema diagram, which is part, whole. In the third diagram, we can see the error made by the student where the student did not translate the mathematical situation into the correct abstract notation. Even though the correct schema diagram was drawn, the student did not translate this correctly to the abstract notation, and this can lead to misunderstanding that the inverse operation should be used. And in the last error made by the student is the student did not perform the mathematical computation correctly. If students in Malaysia have low problem solving in mathematics, it can have several implications for their performance in international assessments like TIMMS and PISA. And some of the implication is it will lower our average scores. It is because problem solving is a key component of this assessment, and poor performance in this area can drag down all the overall score. And the second one is it will decrease our ranking. Malaysia's ranking in international assessment may decline if its students consistently demonstrate weaker problem-solving abilities compared to students from other countries. This could reflect negatively on the quality of mathematics education in Malaysia relative to other nations such as Singapore. I think that's all from us. Thank you. I think that's all from 3 of us. Thank you and see you soon.